For our novel study, you will be completing a vocabulary log each time that you read a chapter. This will allow you to grow your vocabulary in important ways, and it will help you keep track of your thinking as you're reading through your novel. Now, there are two types of vocabulary. One type is called academic vocabulary. These are terms that you might find in informational texts on many different topics. Then there's domain-specific vocabulary, words that are about a particular topic, such as frogs. So in our study, you'll sometimes find academic vocabulary and sometimes you'll find domain-specific vocabulary. Whichever type of vocabulary it is, you are going to want to complete this chart. So now that you've seen this chart on this video, let's make sure that you are set up so that you can successfully complete it. So right now, go ahead and click on your page where it says vocabulary log to open up your copy of the vocabulary log. Once you have that open, split your screen so that you can see this video and you can have your vocabulary log next to it on your screen. Okay, now that you have done that, we're going to practice with the words below. So this one is going to be a little different. We are going to start with the word compassion. Anytime it says add the following words to your vocabulary log, this is what we are going to do. So let's all highlight the word. This is going to be, we're going to copy and paste it. Click, copy, and then let's click and paste it. I like to change the size so it all fits nicely on there. And you'll notice that with some of the words, they have a link. But before we go to that link, let's look at what we do next. We're going to think about the context clue from the text. Now, some terms, you're just going to need to look them up so that you understand them. Because if you notice in your daily learning targets, it says I can show empathy and respect as I listen to my classmates. I can find the gist of the chapter 1 excerpt of Summer of the Mariposas, and I can determine the difference between academic and domain-specific vocabulary. Now, in all of these terms, we don't see the word compassion, so there's not context. But so let's talk about our next part. And I'm going to put NA for not applicable. Let's talk about whether this is an academic term or if it's domain specific. So again, academic is something that we find in informational texts on many different topics, and domain specific is something that's on a particular topic. So let's find out what compassion means first. Now this one has a link. If you can just click on it and it'll take you directly to dictionary.com. You can also type dictionary.com in your browser and then look up the word in this box. So let's see what compassion is. First of all, if you don't know how to say the word, you can click right here and it will tell you how to say it. And it says, a feeling of deep sympathy and sorrow for another who is stricken by misfortune, accompanied by a strong desire to alleviate the suffering. So I'm going to highlight this, copy, and then we're going to paste it where it says denotative definition. Oops. All right, because it says denotative is your dictionary definition. Now, this final column is where you're going to make sure that you know what it means. It's the connotative definition. So what does the word mean in your own words? So what's compassion? Now, one thing that you can do is you can look up synonyms, which are similar words. Okay, and then there are a bunch of synonyms. So let's see what compassion is. Empathy, grace, humanity, kindness, mercy, sorrow, sympathy, tenderness. So compassion really means feeling sorry Or what was another word? Not sorry for, but feeling kindness toward another person. Okay? That sometimes is the hardest part. Now that we know that this means feeling kindness towards another person, we can ask ourselves, is this something that's academic vocabulary where we might find that word in a lot of academic texts? Or is it domain specific? It's only talking about one particular topic. Well, this one, you could talk about compassion in a novel, you could talk about compassion at the doctor's office, you could talk about compassion in society. So this is an example of an academic vocabulary term. And so we're going to draw a symbol such as a star next to our academic vocabulary terms. Ooh, mine came out red. So that is how we complete the chart. Now what you are going to do, make sure that you've completed those. You're going to repeat the process with determine, empathy, and gist. Okay, remember that all those words can be looked up, and completing this chart will help you expand your vocabulary. You also are completing our first learning target, or third learning target. I can determine the difference between academic and domain-specific vocabulary. Once you're done with this assignment, you should be ready to move on to the next portion. Have a wonderful day. Always ask your teacher if you have any questions.